talk about games of the week. There's some pretty interesting ones there. Anything catch your eye that you?
Clemson and Florida State. I'm sorry, I think Clemson's really there. I think Dabo Sweeney is amazing, but you know, sometimes
that's I'm with you on that one. Florida State is unranked, and they don't want to be seen as going backwards. You know, and at this point in the season, this is their money game, so to speak. You know, if this is going to be their marquee game of the season, to kind of uphold their, you know, keep their flag waving above ground. So I think they're really going to be wired for this game. Not saying Clemson loses to Florida State, but Florida State's got some I think they'll really be set up and teed up for this game. Clemson can't walk in and think they're just going to sashay through it. This is going to be a head knocker. Another interesting one is Florida-Georgia. That's an elimination game.
It is. It is. And
in terms of the college football playoffs.
And you know, Georgia's offense has struggled so much. You know, Fromm is throwing the ball all over the place. It's sort of scary, especially with that Florida defense. It
is scary, but I still like Georgia, I think, a little bit over Florida, and that game is at Georgia, which I think helps them. Another really interesting game is Notre Dame versus Navy. That game's on a neutral field out in California and San Diego. You know, Notre Dame is at that point in the season where they're going to be playing a couple games, New York, San Diego, what have you. I think they got to go back out to the West Coast for another game somewhere here at the lake. You know, those games are dicey.
Especially with Navy and their offense.
Yeah.
You know, they run that wishbone and they're all over the place.
Right.
To prepare for that is.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit problematic. I'm with you on that. You know, Notre Dame's got to be careful. I think they're in the mix. My problem is if they lose one going down the stretch, they may very well lose two.
Notre Dame?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I think, you know, once you lose one, then all of a sudden everything becomes dicey and the monkey jumps on your back a little bit in terms of the college football playoff. You know, that's my worry with them, is that if they lose one, I think they could lose two. I also think they could go undefeated. But this game's going to tell a lot. And then finally we got Iowa and is at Penn State. And then we talked earlier, Penn State's playing for the Rose Bowl. And they got to beat some Big Ten teams to get there.
Right.
And this is one of them. Iowa, nobody's talking about Iowa. Iowa's only got one loss.
Right.
One Big Ten loss.
But they're sort of an up and down team as the
season. A little bit up and down, but Iowa, I think almost annually, Iowa's a little bit undervalued. Under Kirk Ferentz. So, you know, that's one to watch. Although that game's at Penn State, and I think Penn State comes out on top with it.